You're sitting on your couch, phone in hand, credit card on the coffee table. That little buy now button is blinking at you, like it knows something you don't want to admit. You know you don't really need it. You know it's going to hit your bank account hard, and yet you click. Maybe it's a pair of shoes. Maybe it's a new gadget. Maybe it's another subscription you barely use. And for a brief moment, you feel good, a tiny rush of satisfaction. And then, a few days later, a little pit forms in your stomach. That thrill, gone. The money, gone too. Why do smart, responsible people repeatedly spend money they don't have, even when they know better? Today, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind overspending, why it happens, why it's almost impossible to resist, and how your brain is literally wired to sabotage your finances. Meet the Parkers, Emily and Jason. Combined income, $95,000 a year. One kid, a small apartment, a decent car, some savings. They do everything right. They pay bills on time, avoid unnecessary debt, and try to save a little each month. And yet, every month, their credit card bill is higher than expected. Emily will look at Jason and say, "How did this happen again?" Jason scratches his head. "We didn't even go out that much." Here's the truth. Emily and Jason aren't lazy. They're not irresponsible. They're being tricked by their own brains and by the system. The first culprit is instant gratification. Our brains are hardwired to seek pleasure. Buying something triggers a rush of dopamine, the same chemical that lights up when we eat sugar, play games, or get a like on social media. This dopamine spike feels good, and it feels immediate. Saving money, delaying gratification, that's boring. That's no fun. Your brain says, you want it, buy it, quick reward. And this is why you might rationalize something you can't afford. It's only $50, it won't hurt, I'll pay it off later. The problem is that $50 isn't just $50. Interest, missed opportunities, and repeated impulses can turn it into hundreds or thousands over time. Here's the second reason we overspend: the credit card illusion. Swipe a card, and it doesn't feel like money leaving your account. Emily buys a $200 jacket. She swipes. It feels abstract. Her brain says, I spent money? A few days later, the statement hits. Surprise, that $200 is due now, plus $30 in interest if only the minimum is paid. Suddenly, that impulsive joy becomes stress, anxiety, and financial tension. Studies show that when people use cash, the brain registers a real loss, making people far less likely to overspend. But swipe plastic? Your brain treats it as almost free, almost like magic. Then there's social pressure. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Your feed is full of friends and influencers showing off vacations, new cars, trendy sneakers, fancy gadgets. Even subconsciously, your brain says, if they can have it, I should too. This isn't envy, this is evolution. Humans are wired to compete and belong. We've been doing it for tens of thousands of years. The problem? The world is now a highlight reel of everyone else's best moments. That new phone, that expensive watch, that weekend getaway, your brain thinks it's normal, necessary, and urgent. And suddenly, even responsible people like Emily and Jason are swiping their credit cards to keep up, even when it's money they don't have. Emotions play a huge role too. Stressed, sad, bored, lonely, tired. Your brain seeks comfort. Shopping becomes a tool for emotional regulation. That new gadget, that fancy dinner, or that impulsive weekend getaway, it's a quick hit of happiness. The problem is, the relief is temporary. The bill comes later, and that emotional spending cycle repeats. This is why people in perfectly good jobs with steady income end up in credit card debt. It's not about laziness, it's about biology. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. Humans treat money differently depending on its source or intended use. For example, a $500 bonus might feel like extra money that's free to spend, but $500 from a paycheck? That feels more serious, more real. This explains why people often splurge with windfalls, tax refunds, gifts, side hustle money, but pinch pennies on everyday spending. Our brains are wired to miscategorize money, leading to overspending in mental buckets while undersaving for essentials. Retailers, apps, and advertisers know this. Anchoring is a psychological trick where your brain compares prices to an artificial reference. Was $200 now $99? Monthly subscription just $9.99. Only 3 left in stock. Your brain sees $99 as a bargain compared to $200, even if $99 is money you don't actually have. Scarcity, urgency, and loss aversion hijack your decision-making, nudging you to spend impulsively. Let's see what this looks like in real life. Emily's credit card balance at the start of the month, $1,000. Impulse purchases this month, $250. Interest rate, 20%. Minimum payment, $50. At this rate, it will take 2 years to pay off the $250 purchase if she doesn't add more charges. And total interest paid, almost $50 extra. Multiply this by several months, several impulse purchases, and suddenly, small lapses turn into thousands of dollars of debt. Here's the kicker. The system is designed for overspending. Credit cards encourage minimum payments. Retailers encourage impulse buys. Subscription services make spending invisible, recurring, and easy. Your brain is being tricked, and most people have no idea. This isn't a moral failing. This isn't laziness. It's human psychology, evolution, and design converging against your wallet. So, what can you do about it? Make spending visible. Use cash or prepaid cards. Seeing money physically leave your hands triggers a stronger response in your brain. Set up delays. Wait 24-48 hours before buying non-essential items. Most impulses fade. Budget for fun. Allocate a fun money fund. Spend guilt-free within limits. Track emotional triggers. Keep a journal. Note when you buy out of boredom, stress, or emotion. Awareness is the first step to control. Remove temptation. Unsubscribe from unnecessary shopping emails. Hide credit cards. Delete apps. Think of this like exercising a muscle. The first month is hard. The urges are strong. Your brain hates delays, hates limits. But over time, awareness and deliberate strategies weaken the pull of instant gratification. You'll start to notice patterns. You'll catch yourself before clicking. You'll build a buffer between the impulse and the action. And slowly, credit cards stop being a trap. Money becomes a tool, not a source of stress. So, next time you reach for that buy now button, remember Emily and Jason. Remember your brain's love for instant gratification, your natural biases, and the psychological tricks built into every purchase you make. Spending money you don't have isn't a personal failing, it's human psychology. The good news? Once you understand the system inside your head, you can fight it. You can regain control. You can keep more of your hard-earned money and finally make it work for you. And that, more than anything else, is the first step to true financial freedom.